let's compare different decks doing the same reading. The topic of today's reading is going to be problematic behavior. Hi, Sarah here. Welcome back. Sylvia of Tarot Magpie made a video about this a while back. I love doing tarot activities on camera, so I wanted to give it a try myself. That activity was called Same Reading, Different Decks. So essentially, they pulled 3 cards to do a tarot spread. Then they pulled the exact 3 cards from multiple different decks and compared the nuances and the messages coming through from each deck. In Sylvie's video, they used a Rider-Waite-Smith clone first, so I'm going to use the Tarot of the Magical Forest. Then, after revealing these 3 cards from the Magical Forest, I'm going to draw the same cards from these other 3 decks. I specifically chose mass market decks for this video. I chose the Mystical Cats Tarot because it's a relatively expressive deck. There's a lot of scenery and expressiveness in these cards to go off of. I feel like this deck would also be very easy to read from, and it would also be easy to illustrate the story being pulled together through multiple cards in this deck. So this is the Mystical Cats Tarot. Then I'll pull the same cards from the White Numen Tarot. I have barely used this in readings, so I'm excited to see how I can interpret it and play with it today. Livy of Crescent Dreams Tarot gifted me this deck. A lot of these cards do feel Rider-Waite-Smith to me as well, but I also see a lot of deviations from the Rider-Waite-Smith or illustrated in a very different kind of way. So I'm very curious to see how these cards will lay out on the table and interact with each other that way. And then lastly, the Fountain Tarot. This is a deck I've had for a while. I think this deck can be hard to read for a lot of people. I just somehow find these imagery very intuitive for me. This is one of my favorite cards, the Judgment card. I have to do a favorite cards video of the Fountain Tarot at one point when I can sit down and review these cards in depth. So let's flip these cards over and get to the reading. All right, Sylvie and their video chose a pre-made spread. I wanted to come up with a spread, so I looked through the Spread Machine Oracle for one of these prompt cards that could be a good jumping off point to create a spread. The card I deliberately pulled is Problematic Behavior. It's mainly because I've recently finished reading the book How to Keep House While Drowning by Casey Davis. The premise and the theme throughout that book is to reframe our behaviors and our habits. Rather than labeling behaviors as lazy or undesirable, we gotta look at the factors that are contributing to us not wanting to do certain things. The topic of the book is all about keeping up with chores or care tasks around the house. And again, reframing, like if you're not able to keep up with a chore, let's understand the reasons why you're not able to keep up with it. And let's also reframe, is you not keeping up with this chore even problematic in the first place? In therapy or in general, like self-help and introspection and us always trying to become better people, yada, yada, sometimes it feels like we want to erase all flaws or all human parts of ourselves. We want to label certain behaviors as problematic, but maybe they aren't actually problematic because they're not actually causing harm to anybody else, and or they're just normal human things. For example, if you feel angry about the state of the world and it makes you want to go out and actually do something, is that anger or is that behavior actually problematic? Why would we label expressing anger and desiring to start conflict as something problematic rather than something that is actually necessary and something that can be a solution instead? So this is a spread that I came up with based on this prompt of problematic behavior. First, what is the problematic behavior, whether it's from us or from things around us, people around us? The next question, the next card is, why is this problematic? What is it an obstacle or a barrier to? What is it actually preventing us doing that we actually want to happen? Then this third card will be what to do. All right, let's flip over these cards, see what's up. Let's start with one card at a time. Problematic behavior, the 7 of Pentacles. This is very close to the typical Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. We've got a character looking at their 7 pentacles growing on a big old bush. They kind of look contemplative, although I know this fox looks like it's seen a lot of things. It looks very wide-eyed. So this fox looking at all these pentacles, first thing that comes to mind is it's assessing, but not taking any action. We're waiting for something, maybe waiting for more information, but we already have enough to start with. Another interpretation could be biting off more than you can chew. Like, oh my God, I grew too much and now I don't know what to do about it next. So maybe bit off more than you can chew. All right, the next question, the follow-up question would be, why is it problematic? 7 Pentacles led to the Tower. So what imagery are we seeing here to describe why is this 7 of Pentacles energy problematic? This tower is like a big old disaster, right? A big lightning striking, earthquake or fire or rainstorm or what have you. So the issue could be that it did not foresee or prepare for this impending disaster. It didn't think ahead to what might happen next, what might go wrong. And because it's just standing here not doing anything, it's opening up for all this disaster to happen and it's very unprepared. Another thought that comes to mind with the Tower is unintended consequences. And with this, directionality really matters as well because this fox is facing this way towards his pentacles. It's not looking ahead to see that this tower is coming. It adds even more to this visual imagery, the visual storytelling of this like unintended consequences. Now, the third card here is what to do. So we've looked at the problematic behavior, why is it an issue, and then what are we going to do? Now, we have the Six of Wands. We're just going to celebrate, right? Just have a good time? Nah. What is the visual story here? With this Six of Wands, we have movement, moving forward. A direct contrast to in the Seven of Pentacles, mentioning assessing but not taking any action. So I'm writing down, move forward with what you have. You can always find support later with these other people in the background here. And one more interpretation. I see this really big stick in the middle of this card here. And it makes me think of overcompensating, like people who their ego is real big to like overcompensate for their insecurities likely. So I'm actually seeing a possible approach or advice here is to have or to create something that can make you feel confident. Basically what to do, overcompensate in a way. Here in this first card, I could see like not feeling secure in yourself because you're looking at all the pentacles that you've created, that you've built, but not feeling secure, not feeling confident. The Six of Wands is literally the opposite of that. Like create confidence, overcompensate, be a whole braggart. Maybe that is what's necessary to kind of get out of this loop of you not acting. That's all I got for now. Next, let's do the Mystical Cats Tarot and compare and contrast these cards. To speed this up, now we're going to do all at once to make it a little bit faster. These cards are definitely busier looking than the Tarot of the Magical Forest. So first, Seven of Earth as problematic behavior. I also see the theme of waiting for something to happen. I also see a different avenue of like problematic behavior, like maybe being very fixated on one outcome. Like maybe there are other mouse holes or burrows in other places. Why is this cat so fixated on this one burrow? So maybe like all the eggs in one basket. Now moving to the tower here, we got the Seven of Earth. This cat is waiting, and then all of a sudden, it's almost like blindsided to this whole cat tree falling. It almost feels like this cat tree is going to fall onto this cat over here, the way that these cards are laid out. So we have directionality in both sets of cards, with the Seven of Pentacles character looking away from the next card. Visually, it's saying you're not really looking ahead to see what is coming next. So this fixation can be problematic because you're not open to or not seeing the things happening on the horizon. It almost feels like you gotta hear and see this rainstorm coming. You gotta be able to prepare for it, but you're here just fixated on this thing for some reason. So I'm writing that this cat is not aware of these upcoming events. So it feels like these events come out of nowhere and you feel upended. You feel very shaken up. You feel very like ungrounded. Now what to do next? Six of Fire again. Have all the cats give you goods. The first thing I see here is like contributing. I know that feels more like earth energy, like contributing and substances and stuff and materials, but for some reason I'm seeing like kind of give what you can to something. Fire is energy, and these are all things that maybe the cats love. So maybe contributing things that you love towards something. Okay, the story is getting clearer. With this earth, it's like we're waiting for motivation to strike. We're waiting to feel creative. In actuality, maybe what we can do instead is to create the momentum, to create the fire, do what you can already instead of waiting for motivation for creativity to strike. And it's reminding me again of my previous interpretation with the other card, which was move forward with what you have already. It also reminds me of how like the finance advice is usually today is never too late to start saving. Instead of like lamenting all the past like 5 or 10 years that you weren't able to save, you can start saving now if you have the means to. Even if you don't have like disaster prevention, evacuation bag ready yet, like now you can start, there's no point waiting for tomorrow to happen when you can do it today and start preventing it now. Let's look at the next one. Next is the White Numen Tarot. Seven of Pentacles again, the Tower, and the Six of, oh no, that is the wrong six. I had too much Pentacles on my mind. It is not the Six of Pentacles, it is the Six of Wands. Let's see this. Ooh, look at this color story. We got starting off green, then going to red, and then red, red, red. So something I'm seeing here in this Seven of Pentacles that I wasn't seeing in the other one is guarding of some sort. Like they're standing here where all these plants are sprouting from the ground, and it's like they're guarding it with their staff and with their animal here too. So maybe guarding what you've created, guarding what you're growing and working on. And interestingly, I'm just seeing this as a behavior, first of all, without labeling it as problematic. I think the second card here can explore why this is problematic. This is just the behavior that we're noticing first. Like all of these things that I mentioned before, like waiting for something to happen isn't problematic in and of itself. It's when we notice like, what is this preventing us from doing? What outcome is this preventing us from having that makes this behavior problematic? But again, this behavior is not inherently problematic I hope the way that I'm framing this is making it clear. So yeah, guarding what you're creating and working on, that is the behavior mentioned here. I almost see like not sharing. Like, I wonder if there could be a chance for other people to be here with you, but this person is like not sharing. There's no other people in this card. Like, not only do I feel this protective, guarded energy, I also feel like not sharing the load or not sharing the fruits. I think it relates to feeling insecure, and odd numbers in numerology can represent like insecurity as opposed to even numbers representing like stability. Okay, now moving on to the Tower. Wow, what an interesting like person depiction here compared to the other like situational depictions in the other cards. So why is this Seven of Pentacles problematic compared to this Tower here? An idea is because this person is very rooted where they are. They're not able to take care of the people or the situations that need them. Granted, it's not like this person looks like a bodyguard or anything, but that's what's coming to mind here. Like, you're kind of stuck where you are. You're not able to be somewhere else where someone actually needs you. Okay, yeah, that can make sense here. Guarding what you're creating, being very guarded, being very insecure. You're not able to show up and help prevent or just take care of things that actually need you or that also need you. I'm going to peek at the guidebook for the White Numen Tarot for the Tower because I'm very curious to see what scene is being depicted here. Okay, the key words are revelation, transformation, chaos, pierced from on high, and seemingly divine reputation. I'm not seeing a clarification in the guidebook on like who this figure is or like what exactly is happening. It does describe that like it's like seemingly divine retribution. The unbeatable Colossus falls because this person was so assured, so confident, nearly to the point of arrogance. So the assumptions of invincibility are now rudely shattered. I guess that's like the scene happening here. That doesn't mean much or connect with me much at the time, but I am noticing, I guess with invincibility, like this person is not wearing much compared to this person. So maybe you're being guarded or protective in like the wrong places or in the wrong ways. There are other ways that possibly need more protection or more attention that you're not really tending to. It feels similar to what I was just saying about like not showing up for what actually needs your attention. But I guess it's more like being guarded or maybe defensive in a way that doesn't actually help you. You know what, actually, I'm also seeing, okay, we earlier I said not sharing, right? Not sharing with other people. And in this card, we also see only one person. So what's the story there, huh? Not sharing your labor or your fruits with other people can lead you to feeling alone when disaster strikes you as well. Yeah, not feeling supported here as well because this person is all by themselves. They don't even have their ox or whatever with them. Not having adequate support in times of trouble. Yeah. Yeah, I really see that now. Yes, that makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, now moving on to this part of the story, the Six of Wands, what to do. I see that we are back with a companion. We have person with companion, person by themselves. That's an issue here. We want to be with our companion. We want to have the support, people and things to give support to. The color palette again really stands out to me because here we see like a cooler green and then here we see like a more active fiery red. So here again, I am seeing that the suggestion of take action, do something. And with the horse, I'm also feeling movement in the horse versus slow and steady, staying rooted with the ox or the bull. It feels similar to the Magical Forest cards with movement here with the Six of Wands versus staying rooted here with the Seven of Pentacles. Literally speaking, this could mean like move somewhere else, not like move your whole house. I mean, maybe so, but also just like change your environment really to another place where you might feel more inspired. And speaking of inspiration with the fire again, like I'm thinking again about work with this one, right? It's like waiting for something to happen, waiting for something to come to you versus the Six of Fire is like creating something with what you have, moving forward with what you have. Yeah, again, active energy versus like passive energy, doing something instead of waiting. And one more thing about movement, with this person waiting here with all of these things, I almost could see this as like let things take care of themselves for a bit because you're gonna take care of yourself or take care of other, I don't know, feed other fires, for example. Instead of this person standing here guarding this person is like, you know what, y'all babies can figure it out yourself. Either I've delegated or I'll just let them be. I don't need to micromanage and hover around these pentacles anymore. I can go let them be alone for a bit. Yeah, so I think let them be is like another interpretation with this Six of Wands here. And tend to other fires is like the idea here. All right, these are my notes so far. We got the Tarot of Magical Forest, Mystical Cats, and the White Numen. And we're going to look at one more. Ignore this section down here. I just didn't divide my spaces out correctly, but we're going to look at one more deck here. And lastly, we have the Fountain Tarot. We can see the stark color contrast between these cards and, for example, the Mystical Cats Tarot. Look at these colors versus look at these white cards. And even the White Numen Tarot has like more colors than these. I know my light is hella bright. Even the Six of Wands is already very bright. It's not just my light, but I will turn it down just a smidge. All right, problematic behavior, Seven of Coins. How can I hold all these limes is what I'm seeing here. Tower, whole thing in flames, and then Six of Wands, like letting it all go almost. We've got body surfing a crowd, looks like. I don't really see other people, but it feels like that's the implication, like body surfing. I'm gonna write that down for the Seven of Coins. What am I gonna do with all these limes? Too many things, not enough hands. Yeah, there we go. Too many things, not enough hands. And hands could also mean like not enough energy, not enough resources, not enough ideas on how to properly handle all these things. Now looking at the tower here, why is having too many things going on problematic? I mean, again, the first thing that comes to mind is like, you're just so focused on all these things, you're not able to look ahead to the tower, the things that are gonna like get set on fire. An idea here is that you're like not paying attention to what's important, especially with like the LA fires that were just happening, unfortunately, all around LA in January and stuff. And also, there's like a lot of other fires happening around the country. Like, climate change is so real right now. Oh my God. This makes me think of like not paying attention to the right things or not watering the right things to prevent disaster. It's like how people think recycling properly is gonna stop global warming or stop climate change, but like there's so much more than just recycling. First of all, you could like consume less, for example, buy less, shop online less, throw out less trash, buy less things so that you have less trash to throw out in the first place. So it's like the things that we think are working or are effective may not actually be effective. Yeah, so maybe like misguided attempts or like the issues you're trying to tackle are not being properly solved by the things you're currently doing, not contributing effectively to the issues you're trying to solve. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, not contributing effectively to the issues you're trying to solve. And this makes me think again about the Seven of Earth from the Mystical Cats Tarot. How I thought the Seven of Earth here, it feels like this cat is very fixated on like this one burrow. And maybe there are other burrows or other things to do besides just waiting right here. And the Seven of Coins person is holding all these things. They're maybe very fixated on all of these things when there are other things that they could be doing that could be more effective or more useful for the things that they're trying to solve right now. But because their attention is so focused on this, they're not really seeing that like, you're not really fighting that fire that effectively. So the behavior that could be happening here is, again, very focused on what you're currently doing or what you currently have. Okay, this tower, I'm also seeing like a very big, overwhelming shift, and you're not really aware of it, especially because you're like very focused on what you currently have. Maybe not being willing to change, not being willing to move with the change, not being able to solve the issues, the consequences that are coming with this change, because you're just very focused on maybe trying to keep everything the same or just focus on these littler things right now. Ineffective focus or ineffective action, I guess. So yeah, for the tower, I'm going to write not aware of change or not wanting to move with change or not willing to change. And I see similarities with this tower compared to the tower of the Mystical Cats Tarot. I didn't know these decks would be more similar than I thought. With both of these decks, there is a big structure that is falling over versus the Magical Forest Tower, which is just a lightning striking that structure. I almost imagine this person as like inside this tower, right? And it's like the whole area, your whole life is shifting. And you gotta kind of shift with it and acknowledge that it's even shifting in the first place instead of trying to hold on to what you have right here with your 7 coins. And lastly, moving on to the Six of Wands in this Fountain Tarot. Body surfing is a solution. Done, 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 right? I see a very serious expression with the 7 of Coins and a very joyful, carefree expression with the 6 of Wands. So I'm seeing like let go a little bit, let go of control, let go of the seriousness. So literally like lighten up, honestly. Even though I can't see other hands or other people clearly in this card, I'm going to interpret this card as body surfing. So I'm thinking about being supported by other people or other things, resources, your environment too. And I remember that came up in like one of the other readings, one of the other decks as well. Lean on your people, find support, get supported compared to this person like looking at their things all by themselves. Now, I want to make sure that this also connects to the tower too, though, because I was hitting on some like serious topics of like not contributing effectively to the issues you're trying to solve. So how does the 6 of Wands help addressing this problematic part of this behavior? I'm seeing this person hold one thing instead of this person holding multiple things, like two things in their hands. So it could literally mean like lighten the load, carry less, do less. If you have too much going on and you don't have the energy to properly take care of all these things, then yeah, let's hold less things, do less things so that you have the energy and you feel more passionate about the things that you want to do so that you can more effectively tackle the issues that you want to tackle, effectively being the key answer. Lighten up, not that serious, find support, get support, and really lighten the load, carry and do less. Like this person carrying only one thing, also letting themselves be carried compared to this person holding multiple things, trying to hold it all together. I know my lights are like in the way, but this is the best I got for now. So this is a look at these different decks doing the same exact reading about this card, problematic behavior. It was really fascinating to see different elements in each of these different decks, like the Six of Fire, associating that with more like contributions compared to the Six of Wands here, seeing similar elements of like movement versus not movement in like the Tarot Magical Forest and the White Numen Tarot here, similar tower stuff going on with this cat here and this big old tower in the Fountain Tarot. This random person getting mixed stabbed, like that was an interesting difference as well. Ooh, look at this color similarity. Green in the Seven of Pentacles and then red in the Six of Wands. This was a really interesting exploration, and I'm so glad that I did this on camera, got these sparks and ideas flying. Thank you to Sylvie of Tarot Magpie for making this video and having this idea out there. If you saw anything else in these cards that I didn't see, or if you pulled your own cards and have other things to compare and contrast against these cards, I'd love to know what you're seeing as well. With that, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye!